Return to a simple life to control desires, achieve tranquility. In tranquility, the world is restored. Returning to a simple life is not an escape from the noisy world, but a journey back to the deepest chamber within the soul, where one learns to let go of excess desires, to listen to the primal rhythm of one's own breath. Simplicity here does not mean deprivation, but a refined selection. Like a gardener pruning overgrown branches to let light reach the roots, people release desires to make the mind clear and bright. When desires are controlled, we are no longer pulled by endless comparisons or the craving for possession, but begin to clearly feel each passing moment, the wind rustling through the leaves, the warm scent of tea in the morning, or the gentle stillness of a late afternoon. It is in that tranquility that the world is restored to its true form, not distorted by illusions of success or the pressure to become more, but appearing balanced, harmonious, and sufficiently full in a very natural way. Tranquility is like a calm lake after the rain, where every reflection is clear, also like the silence between two musical notes, making the melody complete. When people slow down and simplify, they do not lose energy, but, on the contrary, accumulate a source of positive vitality, the energy of contentment, of quiet but enduring joy. From there, the outside world is no longer an object to conquer, but becomes a companion, and in that stillness, people find a sense of peace and satisfaction, as if they have finally returned to where they truly belong. True happiness is enjoying the present, without anxious dependence on the future. Seneca. People often have the habit of deferring their joy to tomorrow, turning the present into a transit station of anxiety and waiting. We worry about things that haven't happened, fear possibilities that haven't formed, and inadvertently let the present slip away like sand through our fingers. But the present is the only ground where happiness can take root. Enjoying the present is not living recklessly or without direction, but the ability to stand firmly in this moment with full awareness, like savoring the warmth spreading on the tongue when drinking tea, instead of hastily thinking about the next cup. When we no longer depend on the future to affirm our value, the mind becomes lighter, like the sky after the clouds dissipate, still with wind and sun, but no longer heavy. The future, then, is no longer a burden to control, but just a natural flow continuing from the present. In that dwelling, joy becomes simple yet profound, a fleeting smile, a peaceful afternoon, or the feeling of calm when knowing that one has lived fully in the now. And precisely when we no longer chase happiness ahead, we realize happiness has never left. It only waits for us to stop and feel it. Fortify yourself with contentment, for this is an impregnable fortress. Epictetus. Fortify yourself with contentment, for it is the sturdiest fortress one can build amid the fluctuations of life. When the heart knows sufficiency, we are no longer easily breached by comparisons, external glitter, or lax inflated by desires. Contentment is not an attitude of self-consolation or acceptance in helplessness, but a state of tingsing inner awareness, where one clearly recognizes the value of what one already has. It is like a citadel built of boulders, not tall and noisy, not flaunting power, but quietly withstanding the storms of time. When contentment is present, greed finds it hard to infiltrate, envy has no ground to take root, and unease gradually falls silent. We begin to live more steadily, like standing in a crowded square without being swept by the crowd, because within there is a firm anchor. In that fortress, the mind rests, emotions settle, and positive energy quietly multiplies. People then no longer chase after having more to feel sufficient, but learn to look deeply into the present to recognize the abundance that already exists. It is that contentment that creates a soft but enduring strength, a strength that needs no victory over others, only to hold firm to oneself. And when the heart is fortified by knowing sufficiency, no matter how the outside world changes, it is hard to shake us. For that fortress is built from inner peace, something nothing can seize. Do not wish to have things happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly. Epictetus. Do not wish for things to happen exactly as you desire, for human wishes are often narrow and shallow compared to the vast flow of nature. When we insistently demand that life bend to our personal desires, we unwittingly set ourselves against reality, where every small event can become a source of disappointment and unease. Conversely, when we learn to wish for things to unfold as their natural course, the mind begins to relax, like a boatman who goes with the current instead of straining against the flow. The natural course does not promise perfection, but carries a profound harmony, sometimes scorching sun, sometimes rain, sometimes smooth, sometimes rough, all necessary to create the complete rhythm of life. When accepting that, we no longer waste energy on resentment or coercion, but devote strength to adapt, understand, and grow. Life then becomes smooth, not because there are no more waves, but because within us we have learned to stand firm amid those waves. Things come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. We observe, feel, but neither cling nor repel. In that acceptance of nature, the heart softens, the pace of life slows, and things that seemed undesirable gradually reveal their own meanings. When we no longer force life to follow our will, we discover something relieving. Life knows how to operate itself, and humanity's role is simply to live fully, awake, and trusting in each step. It is that trust that makes life flow more, softer, like a river quietly flowing to the vast sea without haste or struggle. Talent determines what you can do. Motivation determines how much you're willing to do. Attitude determines how well you do it. Holtz. Talent, motivation, and attitude are three silent pillars shaping each person's journey, not existing separately but intertwined, supporting one another like three threads weaving the fabric of life. Talent determines what you can do, that is the starting point, the innate seed or honed over time, giving you the ability to enter a certain field with some advantage. But talent itself is like a musical instrument placed in the corner of the room. No matter how precious, if no one touches it, it remains silent. Motivation is the hand ready to pick up that instrument, determining how far you're willing to go, how much effort, sweat, and even discouragement you're ready to trade to move forward. Some have modest talent but abundant motivation. They go slow but steady. Others are very skilled but lack motivation, stopping midway. However, what determines whether the sound produced is beautiful or just clumsy knocks lies in attitude. Attitude determines whether you do everything with seriousness, humility, perseverance, or superficiality, arrogance, and giving up halfway. It is like how an artist listens to each note they produce, ready to correct and perfect, instead of just playing to finish. When the right attitude is present, failure is no longer humiliation but a lesson, and success does not turn into complacency but motivation to continue advancing. A person may not possess outstanding talent, but with strong motivation and positive attitude, they can still go very far and steadily. Conversely, great talent but wrong attitude will soon self-erode. Living wisely is not only cultivating abilities, but also nurturing inner motivation and honing attitude each day. When these three elements harmonize, people not only get things done, but do them well, deeply, and with a sense of completeness, solidity from within. Work in silence, let your success make the noise. Frank Ocean. Working in silence is a choice full of courage in a world that favors noise and display. It is when people stop hastily proving themselves to others, but quietly pour energy into each specific action, each small but sure step. Silence here is not avoidance or withdrawing in fear, but profound focus, like an underground river flowing, not showy but nourishing a vast land above. When we work in silence, the mind is not distracted by early praises, nor shaken by skeptical looks. We are free to try and fail, adjust, and grow at our own rhythm. Success, then, is no longer a goal to boast about, but the natural result of perseverance and seriousness. It is like a flower blooming in season, no need to call, its fragrance and color still spread. When success speaks instead of words, it carries the weight of substance, convincing without lengthy explanations. People may doubt promises, but it's hard to deny results. And it is the silence in that process that creates depth for success, a depth not easily shaken by storms, for it is built from discipline, patience, and faith in the path one takes. Working in silence also helps people maintain humility, not getting caught in endless comparisons. We learn to listen to ourselves more, understand our limits and abilities, thereby advancing steadily. When success rings out, it is not noisy, not exaggerated, but clear enough to be recognized. And in that moment we realize, silence does not make us smaller, but is the necessary space for us to grow fully.